Shot for goal, shot for goal, shot for goal, shot for goal! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you might be tuning in from. Thank you for joining us once again here on Shot for Goal, a special edition amidst our Streamathon. 15 years of streaming, and we're going mental. 15 days of streamed games, some classics. I'm always alongside Noah. No, Brinkworth. Here he is. Noah, you've been doing a whole pile of work setting up this streamathon. I'm surprised you haven't gone cross-eyed. How you doing?
I'm doing great there, bud. Yeah, I've been delving through the archives, looking through games all the way back to 2010, when also TV began. We've had an illustrious time of streaming all the way through to 2025. Steph, you've told me some fantastic stories about back in the day in like 2020, 2012 and stuff with, or setups that give you electric shocks, torrential rains, and, marquees that go out into sea. We've had every kind of natural disaster pretty much hit the Ulti TV setup, and we're still here going, Steph. Maybe a chance to reflect on your time streaming and commentating on Ulti TV.
Yeah, we'll have lots of time to do that. It's been pretty wild. Even just the last game, seeing that on the women's final from I think 2015, if I'm not mistaken. But Box versus Chaos out in Australia. Just kind of hearing myself. I was not a great commentator back then, hearing some of the stuff. Anyways, there's been lots that has gone on, and you guys will have lots of time to pick and choose your moments to delve into the Streamathon. At the end of the show today, Noah and I are going to talk about our top 10 games from 2025 that will be part of the Streamathon. But we're also going to have a quick chat about the SCA games and some Premier League going on in Egypt. But before that, we're going to talk Tom's Tourney with the man himself, Boris van der Loock. How you doing, Boris? Out up in Bruges.
I'm good, thanks. Glad to be on the show.
How is the weather in? Well, I could say Bruges. There's a million ways. I always seem to get it wrong, but you can tell me how we say the name of your city and what's weather like there, because it can be unpredictable at times.
It is unpredictable to say the least. Yeah, we're having rain, sun, whatever you want.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Boris, we're gonna talk about Tom's Tourney, one of the greatest tournaments on the planet, of course, a open and women's 2-division tournament, an annual memorial tournament, and Tom himself has had some documentaries about him and a lot of write-up on the Tom's website, so go check that out. But we're going to talk a little bit about some formatting differences for the 2026 edition. And I'm going to let you take it away. I know that there's been some tweaks. It's not totally changed, but you're changing it up a bit. And go on and spill the beans. Let us know how it's going to look this year.
So we've decided to merge Open First and Open Second Division. So for the women's division, there's not much changing. We have 20 teams in one division. For Open 1 and Open 2, we felt like the level of those two divisions was getting closer and closer in past years. And also with the ECS ranking that Tom's Tourney has been a part of, where teams can get their ECS points by playing games at Tom's Tourney. We felt like we want to give people or teams more opportunities to get those points. And to do so, we had to be able to give them more games together. So merging those divisions where all teams come together and where we can manage a little bit who's playing who at the start, we can give more teams those options. So we've gone back to a system in one division with 40 teams, but we're still keeping it apart a little bit to offer every team more games on their own level. So we've revised
I may have lost Boris's audio there. We're gonna keep playing with that and see if we can get him back. Boris, maybe stay into your microphone, and our producer Grabco will keep
Can you hear me?
trying to.
Marco?
Yeah, now I can hear you. So it is
Okay.
back.
Sorry.
All good. It was really only for about the last 10
Oh.
seconds of what you might have said there.
Okay.
But I think at the same time, we did get a fair bit of the gist. If I might reiterate, you gone from 2 divisions to 1 mega open division, and that's the biggest change. EUCS points collaborating, collecting will be easier. There's more chance to cross over. That middle section will have higher potential to cross over. I think we might have a little bit of a graphic based on what you provided us, and you might be able to talk us over a bit
Yeah.
more how that works now, Boris.
Yep. So you can see we have starting pools where there's an elite, or there's 4 elite pools and 8 contender pools. Sorry. So in those initial pools, we will split up based on level. So 16 teams with an elite level, and then also 24 with a contender level. After initial pools, the top 2 of every elite pool just continues to a elite crossover, where they will play for a place in the pre-quarters. So they're basically guaranteed pre-quarters place. And then the 3rd and 4th position in every elite pool, they will play a game against the winners of the contenders division. So as you can see, those winners of the contenders division, they also play a crossover against each other to determine whether they play against the 3rd or 4th elite. And the winners of those crossovers, they then continue to pre-quarters. Then for the lower brackets, you can see that the 2nd and 3rd in the contender division, they play crossovers, and they play more crossovers. And then they end up either in the 16 or the 17 to 32 bracket, or in consolation pools at the bottom. So we guarantee that every team has 8 games during the weekend, and by using this system, we think that every team will get as many level games as you can. So even if you're not at elite level, you will still find opponents throughout the weekend that have your similar level.
I'm sure, Boris, there's still going to be plenty of time for beers on the Friday and Saturday nights. Div 2 had a bit of reputation for supporting the tournament with their healthy consumption of those beverages.
The Zot Brewery, the greatest
Undoubtedly, yeah,
libations in the world.
We still have our parties, we still have the barbecue, we still have all the food available. Yeah, there's
The
nothing changing with
waffles,
that. Yeah.
the everything at Tom's.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
It's
We're just
amazing.
changing the format. We're not changing anything else.
Amazing. So you were talking about EUCS as well. If you head over to the Tom's Tourney website, you look at the registration pages, you can already see a lot of the teams already signed up. You can talk some more about how many teams we've got so far, but they've also got these new little EUCS minus and EUCS plus things next to the teams. I was wondering how you're going to kind of pick teams. Are you really looking for teams who are entered into the EUCS system? Do you care about whether it's a plus, whether it's a minus? Are you just looking for the best teams regardless of things? Is there other things teams can do to get a spot at the heralded Tom's Tourney?
Yeah, this is good info. It's a good question, Noah.
Our selection procedure is a well-kept secret. What I can say is that we always try to have a good mix of nations. We always try to have a good mix of new teams and teams that have been regulars at Tom's Tourney. We try to have teams who are loyal, so teams canceling out on us last minute, they do see their chances diminish next year. If you win Tom's Tourney, you get a free pass or a free ticket for next year, so that's a boon. But besides that, it depends on the situation, really. There's not much you can do. And of course, if you play for ECS points, I will not say that will give you extra chance, but if you do register for ECS points, we will try to give you maximal opportunity to play against other teams that register for ECS. So we will try to do that a little bit, but I can't say that you definitely win.
All right, so you get a little taste of what the selection criteria is about. I think at the end of the day, get lodged to make sure you've got a chance, make sure you're being considered. Get those numbers up as always. Tom's is going to be awesome. I mean, I guess the logic behind it is sound, and I feel like you're going to get more teams with EUCS ambition that are going to get those games, and B, there's nothing safe. Like top two in your pools, you go through, but it really makes the job of seeding a bit more forgiving because that's very difficult year to year to kind of get the seeding right is tough. There's some teams that are on the cusp that are like, screw it, let's just play Div 2 and try and win something. They don't get that option anymore, which is I think better from a broadcasting point of view. Like there is like this toilet bowl, as I call it, the second tier championship no longer
Harsh.
exists. No, I don't mind to be harsh when it comes to second tier, but it does really kind of you got to fight right till the end here for placing to kind of hold seed. You definitely don't want to get usurped by somebody who's coming from the bottom pool up if you're one of those top teams, and if you are one of the teams in the contender in the lower pool. That's exactly what you're going to want to be doing now. You won't have that chance of toilet bowl glory, but you will have similar levels of glory available by knocking off some teams in the upper half, which I'm sure will happen in some situations. As I said, the job of seeding always very difficult. From season to season, especially for Toms, it's really the first open women's tournament of the season. You really have to go on last year's results, a quick look at some rosters, I guess. That must be a pretty tough job too, Boris.
Yeah, we do look at nationals results, at current ECS standings because we already had, we make our selection in early January, so at that point there's no ECS played yet for this season. But we do look at ending or rankings of last year. We look at rosters. We don't know the rosters when we're doing selections. So at that point we have to just go off of what people write on their subscriptions. But usually we have it right more or less, like ballpark guesses are quite okay.
Excellent stuff. So Tom's Tourney registration is open. Make sure you get in there. Boris Vanderlook, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure everybody gets registered. We'll see you in Bruges. Ulti TV is going to be there as per usual, banging out a heck of a broadcast as we always get to do up there in Bruges. It's going to be a cracker, so don't you miss it. Boris Vanderlook, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you hopefully sooner, but if not, in Bruges in the new year.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, Boris.
Thank you,
Cheers, guys.
Boris.
Bye.
An absolute legend, Noah. There's nothing better than going up to Bruges every year. Boris takes full care of us. It's always a family affair with the Vanderlooks. Moms and dads are around. The extended Freezebees family take us in and really pick us up and never let us down. So it's the goods, and we'll be looking to get back there.
I mean, and talking of the Freezebees, a bit of a shout out to them. One of the games that I considered for my top 10 games of the season was the WUC qualification game where Freezebees took the third spot. And yeah, we'll be seeing the Freezebees.
They're on an upward trajectory.
Yeah,
They
both
had
at Tom's Tourney and
the
the
Killer
World
Bees
Clubs.
line on Belgian Beach. They get the kids there are starting to make some waves. So not only a great tournament, but a heck of a program. Both in opens and women's, the Torrijas and I think it's Woof on grass. The women up in Bruges also starting to come of age and finding ways to win. So we'll be keeping our eyes on all that as well. Noah, what's more in news? I think we wanted to mention, Egypt Open is a tournament that's coming up in 2026, but They got some wild stuff going on over there right now. They've got a Premier League, and it's kind of popped up on XL Ultimate. I know Rowan McDonald works with I guess Egypt Ultimate. I think Mohammed Mo is one of his boys. They do some work behind the scenes, and I it's not streamed. I haven't get to watch it, but it is very exciting. They got their tables all online. Egypt FDF. Egypt FDF, yeah, that's exactly it, on the Instagram. So check it out. Give them some love. It's great to see African Ultimate coming of age and starting to make some waves as well. And it seems like the Egyptians are doing a bang up job of it, Noah.
Yeah, and just saw recently on their Instagram as well that they're having some national team trials. We talked about that right at the close of the last show, Steph, that we're going to get an All Africans Nations kind of tournament going on soon, which is going to be super awesome to see. We get to see some of these nations in like MENA competitions as well, which we're going to be hoping to bring for you again in 2026. And of course, we're looking, if we can, to get Dubai invite as well to expand the breadth of UltiTV. We've obviously got so many clubs all over the world preparing for the World Club Championships this year. We want to see all of those practice warm-up tournaments. So, if you're we've got bases in Australia, bases here in Europe. We can get out to you and we can help provide some publicity to your tournaments for these and to attract teams who are preparing for work just like those teams are at Tom's Tourney.
You're absolutely right. We're trying to expand as always, but for this very moment, we're going to shrink ourselves, take a short break, and be back with more news after these kind words.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with UltiTV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat. Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater. On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe. Oh, wow. Guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of. Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Go find Stef Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Oh my goodness! That is unbelievable! And created the net and made for it!
That was absolutely incredible.
What up, people? Thank you for staying with us here. Shot for Goal extended Streamathon edition. Madness of 15 days of streaming. It's crazy that we can put this together with how many games we've got in our archives. But going back 15 years, it makes a whole lot of sense. Noah, there was some Ultimates today, the last couple days. It wrapped up today in Thailand, part of the Southeast Asian Games, a multi-sport competition. Ultimate had 6 nations, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. Am I wrong?
5.
Is it not 6 nations? It's
Just
5.
5.
Malaysia.
So Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Indonesia.
Thank you. Yes, 5 nations. And, I guess a smallish tournament, a round robin into finals. There was staggering numbers from the get-go. Culminating in the final today. It's been like, I looked at it about an hour and a half ago, 7 hours after it happened, there were more than 100,000 views. This is mind-blowing numbers for Ultimate anywhere, on our channel, on Ultiworld, on WIFDF channel. What the heck is going on? How is this happening, first of all?
Steph, I can't quite explain it. Like, it is mind-blowing. It's very possible that we're going to look back at this SEA Games final in a year or so, and it's going to be the most watched Ultimate game of all time. Like, this is the kind of trajectory that the 2016 Japan USA final was never even on, right? That game has so many views, but I don't think I've personally, Steph, I don't know about you. Have you ever seen over 6,000 concurrent viewers on Ultimate Stream? I've never seen it.
Never. You and I keep our eye on that as much as almost any two people
Yeah.
on the planet. There's a few others, sure, but we got our finger on the pulse. And I mean, this is like miles ahead. The final is at 112,000 views after 5 hours. It's 5 hours online, 112,000 views. That is, I just can't understand it. I like to relate to it.
There's a couple of things I think are going on. I think that because the media landscape in Southeast Asia for Frisbee is a little bit more disparate. There's little smaller groups that will do the odd tournament here. I was just watching some like Philippine nationals on HFS Media. I know that there's some I'm forgetting the name now, but there's some great Malaysian streaming that I've shown with the scaffolding setup. I'll go find that and chuck it in the chat later. But yeah, there's little pockets of streams there, and I think we're kind of underestimating just how big the Ultimate community is there, right? Especially the Philippines.
People talk about China and how much it's growing and how big it is. China's not at this event. Southeast Asia. This is the rest, the southern peninsulas and islands of Southern Asia, Southeast Asia, and it is going off. I can only imagine if China was there too, based on what we know what's happening in China. For perspective, the Canada-Japan, the Horrible Spirit game from 2012, 13 years ago, has been one of the most touted games. It's poor spirit, but like a lot of people watch it. That is 154,000 after 13 years, and that's a well-viewed game. This is 112,000 after 5 hours.
It's mind-blowing. I think the other thing that must be happening is that people are coming and watching the game who aren't really Ultimate players, who are just, homers for their country, big Philippines fans, big Singapore supporters, who are kind of watching all the stuff that's on in the SEA games. And you think about those sort of multi-sports competitions, when you've got the Olympics on the TV, Steph, I'm going to whack on some curling next year in Milan. I'm always up for watching a little bit of handball or water polo in the summer. Something a bit obscure.
Yeah, give me some
kabaddi.
I
didn't really think. Yeah, exactly. I didn't really think that YouTube could capture people the same way and bring people into the sport. But I think that is what has happened. Like that, people are just checking out all of these different ways that you can see the SEA games and watching whatever's on. There's football on, there's frisbee on. Anything that you can imagine at the Olympics and more, because Ultimate's there, is on. It's super cool. I'd love to get some Philippines or Singaporean guests who can, or anyone else from Southeast Asia who can kind of enlighten us on what exactly is going on here. But I mean, Steph, I'll talk a little bit about the actual games as well. They're a little bit hard to see from the European perspective. They were streaming from about 1:30 a.m. and the last games were finishing at 12 a.m. So you could grab those end games. The final ended up being kind of a night game, so that was nice, and got it later for the European audiences. I expected going into the tournament that there would be 3 tiers of competitors: Indonesia and Thailand at the bottom, Malaysia and Philippines kind of vying to be in that gold medal spot, and then Singapore kind of comfortably being the best team at the tournament. It's not quite how it shook out. I think that Malaysia weren't quite as great as I was expecting. I think that maybe they had a really quite impressive showing at AOUC, but maybe I was just discounting. I've got more friends who are like Malaysian frisbee players. I was a little bit biased in that way. And the Philippines on the beach have been massive players for a long time. They wiped away Malaysia in the pool play stage. In the pool play stage, when it came to Philippines versus Singapore, Singapore did get the win. It was 10-8 in that game. And I thought that even then, Singapore didn't play their best game. I thought that I backed them to win by about 3.5 points. Kind of short games here at the Southeast Asian Games. So the cap is 13, but they were only 75, maybe 80-minute cap games, and that includes a long. longish half time. So, games weren't always getting too far. But I thought Singapore were 2 or 3 point favorites. I watched the whole game. I thought in the final, I thought that Singapore were a much better defensive side. I think they have a bit more athleticism. They definitely have more depth. And they're kind of like really quick in closing down cuts. But they gave the disc away loosely a few times. They're more willing to... They could give you the disc under less pressure. I think they're kind of between styles right now, between that kind of more traditional style, big isolation moves, and the more classic Singaporean style, which is like big, quick give-go movement, and, trying to leave players behind the disc. It's a big thing you see from Singapore in Ultimate. So it felt to me that there were times where, a cutter was expecting a traditional kind of throw, and the thrower was expecting a kind of give-go kind of throw, and there was just a little bits of miscommunication or little bits of getting carried away, and they gave disc away a little bit cheaply. On the other hand, they could not get the disc off the Philippines despite incredible defensive pressure. It often looked like the Singaporeans were closer to every cut, were just in front and were closing down every cut, and the Philippines would make some crazy juke and jive and get free on a late stall, or do a lovely lead pass that threw it to the outside shoulder that would get past the defense. Singapore went up early, 5-3, 6-3, but the Philippines came back and took down the game, Stef. It was 9-7 in the end, 7-all, and then a hold for Philippines and a break on Universe to seal the victory.
Yeah, I watched the final, both. I watched the first half live, and then I went back and watched a highlight stream, a scoring stream. The one thing, teams like Singapore that have great zone defense, they play their zone. They end up like relying on using defensive variants in big games, and sometimes that's tough. If you get behind and you're looking to play defensive variants, it's a lot tougher to force a turnover from a stingy team that gets comfortable at a big game playing zone than it is playing match defense. And I don't think they were chasing enough pulls playing match defense until they had no other choice late in the game. I think that stood to hurt them too. Going to the start of the tournament, talking about favorites in AOUC, AOUGC, as much as Malaysia had a good showing in the mixed division at that tournament, you got to remember that Philippines Open team knocked off the Australians in the final, got through Japan. Like, Philippines don't show up on a lot of world tournaments because it's expensive. They don't travel easily and well, let's say, to get to major overseas tournaments. When they're on home turf, when they're in Southeast Asia, it is a nation that has a lot of talent. Yes, they are known for their prowess on the sand, but do not sell them short. They are a great nation playing on grass, and big congratulations out to them. They've won a big one here, the first of its kind to have Ultimate at SEA at another multi-sport event, and to do it in front of what we believe is the biggest digital crowd ever assembled for an Ultimate game. Big kudos to Woofda for finding their way to get it on the channel, for the tournament organizers and the production team, broadcast team on the ground there. But heck of a job, and I'm glad that we all get to enjoy this little blip of international Ultimate just before Christmas time. No.
And Steph, I'm just having a look at some of the stats from this tournament. I've got to shout out some of the Filipino players who are fantastic. Edgar Sumbi Jr. Leads the stats with 10 goals and 5 assists. We've got Dacumos, Butil, Lamigo, Agnes, Peralta, and Hortolano. He's made some great plays in the final. A clutch deep shot in the stretch there. They were kind of the top 7 or 8 there for Philippines. I think the Philippines also just have a bit of a smaller roster than Singapore. I thought that Reynald Chen, number 33, also stood out for the Singaporeans. He's more of he's a male matching O-line receiver for that team, and I thought he continues to kind of look like the best player in the country to me. Didn't have to do like super difficult things with the disc, but off the disc, he's got so much size and just so much composure. He had a great low grab that he rolls through on the final. So that was impressive there. And congrats to Philippines. A big upset, and I definitely, upset in my mind. I am with you, Steph. I underestimated the Philippine side. Super exciting.
Big ups, Filipinas. Well done. And with that, now we're going to move to the final segment, which is really like our segue and our moving into what is going to be rolling for 14 and a half more days. This
Blink
mega...
and you're not going to miss it.
Yeah, the mega streamathon. I don't know if the chat gets carried over for 15 days. I don't know if it gets reset. I don't know a lot of things. But I do know that there are some absolute bangers that are going to be coming up in that time. You did a lot of the selection, even to get to the short list. I think you put 160 games for just 2025. Yeah. And so of that list, you and I have decided to whittle down to 10. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of similar ones. We produced and commentated a lot of games together. We would chat in the car or whatever on the way back to the hotel. You know, we kind of consolidate at the end. We talk a bit more players, but we certainly talk a lot about the big games. And we have not discussed this, but even just while talking to Boris there, we have... about the Frisbees. I know we've got one that is the same, so I guess let's start there. The game to go, Belgian Nationals, Noah. Break it down for us.
Steph, that is number 11 on my list. That is my first honorable mention, is the game to go, Frisbees Jet Set.
All right, then I will bring this up as my first one then.
Where is this on your list?
I did not realize I was supposed to put them in order. I have a number 1, and the rest are like the 10. So I have my cutoff point, but I did not put them all in a...
Let me give you my honorable mentions and then my number 10 as well. I've got two...
You're just going to rip through them all. All right, go
No, let me give you my number 10, and by the time I've finished talking about on my number 10, you're going to have them on a list, and you can work out what your 10 is. So... as well as the Belgian Nats game to go, which was an honorable mention for me. I thought the Belgian Nats final was also a fantastic game. The Gentle Moon game, never really felt like Gentle quite going to get there. There was that great moment with Del Haas with the little bit of beef on the end zone line. That was a lot. I realized looking back at this that I definitely favor drama-y moments in games. I've got quite a lot of drama in my top 10.
I think I did too.
So aside from those two Belgian games, the last one I have is an honorable mention, and it might be sacrilege, Steph, but I have the London Invite Final as an honorable mention.
The London Invite Final, Canada, USA.
Yeah, I mean, the most star-studded game we produced, bar one perhaps this year, but it's always insane to have a precursor to the World Games Final out in Europe. The game was a much cleaner affair than other mixed games that we might talk about later, but it kind of is let down. You know, the stars are all there, the high-level players there. The tough thing was that the estates were just too good, and it never really looked like Canada were going to win, so that kind of prevented it going on to my top 10 list.
I think it's a fair honorable mention there. That's that was a great game. I had a tough time watching that one because... well, we wanted to be in it, but we did have a pizza and enjoy. I had knocked off. No, actually, I think I was still commentating on the other side. Anyhow, go on, Noah. Keep them rolling.
My number 10, Morse Cabrones versus Spain, the semi-final. This is the one where they rocked up 10 minutes before the game and murdered Spain. The Spain Masters game was actually closer, but I'm not taking this game because it was close. You know, none of the Morse Cabrones games. This is back from Checkerbow. Morse Cabrones, if you remember, is a mixed version of the Spanish, the Spanish mixed national team, but just the women. Went to Checkerbow.
Just 7 of those
murdered
women.
Everyone with 7 players. Absolutely killed everyone. Was it the most compelling game in terms of who was going to win? No. But it maybe taught me more about Beach Ultimate than any other game I've seen. And it was the most impressive tournament performance of the year for me. So I had to have them in. I think it's a bit of a collection game as well. I kind of am giving the spot mostly to Morris Cabrones and all of their efforts that weekend. But the semi-final was the best for me because of how ruthlessly they took down the Spain women.
I like it. So is it my turn to go 10 now, or are you going to go through your
Your
whole
turn
list?
to go 10. No, your turn to go 10.
Okay, so I am like slowly putting these into order. It's a little bit disheveled here. But I'm going to put my number 10. Hang on. I'm just doing one more little as another Jekebo game. And I did consider Moras Cabronas because how awesome they were, but I did make my choices a little bit more on competitive nature of games too. Like there are entertaining blowouts that exist. I don't think I've got too many lopsided scores on my list though. I ended up taking.
I don't either. That was
I
my
think
last
I got a
one,
lot
I
of top
think.
games. So the one that stood out for me was also in the women's division. It was also Spain, and it was that heartbreaker for the French women, who we learned were the better team once they got to WBUC. If you ask them, they're the best team in the world, and we won't get into that any further. But the Spain France, it was a quarter final, and
Yeah.
the French got knocked out quarter final. It was
Huge.
Lison Borneau not called onto the line for Universe Point. I had questioned the French coaching, which I tend to do, which I've also made my own theories about, that they almost do it on purpose so that they can rebound from folly. But that one is number 232 of games to be streamed, if you have any chance of following. But a great game. The Spanish women knocking off the French women, who were a stronger outfit, all the way down to Universe Point, back and forth. A bit of a sloppy game, sure, but like a super hard-fought game in Valencia.
For me, Steph, I did consider that game. One of the reasons I didn't pick it is because it was quite a stressful game for me because the power went out in that game.
Yeah.
So I
think I was even running over and pouring gas. I came back.
That's
covered
when
in
you were
gas.
pouring gasoline. Yeah. So I mean, I think there was a good 4 or 5 points. I didn't exactly watch of that game. It would probably be in the high teens for me, but I think a great addition to the list. I'm going to stay on the sand for my number 9. And this is one I fear you're not going to enjoy, Steph. My number 9 on the list, Ulti TV versus Salivuelas at CFC, the quarterfinal. I think we must talk about it given that you're here, but...
Oh, it hurts so much still. It'll never sit well with me, but I can understand why that was a good game. They were clinical.
They were clinical. I mean, to give a little bit of context, there's kind of been a feud between Ulti TV and this Salivuela / El Contrato Spanish mixed beach ballers. This year they had some open beach ballers from Alvaro Monterde joining the team, but without Bastian Spiegel and Anira. So a little bit of a different looking this team this year. Last year, they beat Ulti TV in the final in a very close game. This year, in a slightly less close game, Ulti TV gave up some points early. Kind of like Fury in the Club Nationals final-esque. Gave away, just was really, really not good in the first 4 points of that game. And then the whole thought of the game is, when are they going to get back into this? When are they going to get those blocks and breaks? And it came in little spurts, and there was moments where it looked like Ulti TV could turn the corner, but I think you guys just ran out of time, and you literally did run out of time at a point because you had to be within 2 when the cap went, and you had that weird ending. I could kind of see
it was
because
because on the sideline, one of their players said game to 12, and we were like, "You said game to 12," but I knew the rules were not game to 12. I still remember Alvaro Monterde on the line before the game started, talking to his game or to his team, the 5 on the line. And he was like, "Muertos del famoso." Now, but like the death of the famous people was like they were hyped up for the game, and I was like, "Oh, easy on the spirit, guys." And he was like, "Oh, we're doing it," and it was a spirited game. I will never say anything otherwise. They just like, when you got a team like that, a roster like that, you get a target on your back, and people bring their best for you, and that was a big case of that team just being on point. And us having too little, too late. We could never get back in it. We were unable to get turns out of them. They were so stingy, and I like your
Yeah.
pick, but it's not on
If
my
you look
list.
at the top trumps card of that team, right, they are way up in the offense and, less stand out on the defense. They're a team that is very hard to get the disc off, but maybe they don't bring the defensive pressure. So if you're a team who's going to turn yourself, I think you guys kind of were this year. I'm sure next year are going to be squeaky clean.
Oh,
But this
yeah,
year, I
next
think
year.
that UltiTV really turned themselves over a lot of times, rather than succumbing to defensive pressure. And it meant there was kind of a nice matchup for them.
I like your
this year.
choice. I accept it.
Number 9, Steph, for you.
So my number 9 is one that we have that you talked about as an honorable mention, and that is Moon versus Gentle in at Belgian Championships. Again, it was the contentious nature of the game that gets me. That was a great inside look at like the real rivalry between Gentle and Mooncatchers. That I mean, there's a lot of love there. Gentle have been the whipping post for Moon for many years. We get to hang with Bommy and Yella and Morley and a lot of the old school crew, and they're just like, bloody Moon. Like, we love them, of course, but like, yeah, we just like, man, we got to beat them once. And you can see like the generational and as many teams that have had difficulties with Moon, they're the best team in Europe this year. Like Gentle in that game threw everything at it, and like I believed that there was a chance to win on home soil late in the game. Like you were still like, oh my, they could actually knock him off here and win the championship. The Andrew Delas,
Especially with how good Lander was playing. Lander was unbelievable in that game.
Lander. I mean, the Shadow Boy, as Davide called him. We talk about the decrankings from time to time. Who's the rankings of the decranas? Lander deservedly on top from time to time. Toba, the real superstar, and then the up and coming Staf Decrana. But that game Moon got away with it, but a heck of a game to go back and watch, and a little bit of a Delas hard shoulder there in the end with some speculation of how hard of a foul that was indeed.
I'm excited to be back there in 2026, Steph, and see if Gentle take their revenge on Mooncatchers. If that increase the bad blood between the teams.
In a WUCC, are we going to see more Toba over there? Is Alex Atkins, I believe he is still Gentle, signed up for. So to get, you never know what might happen in 2026. With that.
At
Belgian
the same time, I don't
championship.
think Dan was playing for Moon in that game, right? So he was not back from the US either. So I mean, the game could get even more stacked. I'm staying with an UltiTV game, Steph, in my 8th slot. I've got UltiTV versus Dindon at checkerboard.
That was high in my, that would have been one of my honorable mentions because I loved commentating that game. I got in trouble for commentating that game.
Yeah, I think Davide came to us after the game and we had some words. I think they were all very jovial words. But it was everything. It was some fantastic standout performances. Bonnet and Naz really connected fantastically in that game. Lorenzo Pavan, as he was that whole weekend, was disgustingly good for Italy. And in a game that they could have accelerated away UltiTV, it was actually very, very close. Contentious call late in the game as well to give it a bit of the drama. The game had pretty much everything, Steph, except for maybe UltiTV wearing their jerseys the right way around.
Oh, yeah, Davide,
But don't.
Davide.
What a game!
Yeah, it was great. Palmieri, Barzazzi, the contentious play at the end. Tough one on Universe Point. Went down to the wire. Dindon had just knocked out GB the day before, so it was they were definitely being taken seriously. So that's a heck of a pick. I like it. Next on my list, my number 8, just happened over in the land of the long white cloud. We had Nick Whitlock on last week. I went back and watched it, but Marvelous DC versus Big Mixed Championship in New Zealand. the only two teams that were in contention, so to speak, and based on scores from semis and pool play, down to the wire, highlight plays throughout the game, marvelous. With again, I love it when there's a little bit of contention, a call, an iffy block that goes back on Universe Point, turning it into a clean hold kind of a game, but. Yeah, we heard Whitlock talk about it last week, and that was enough for me to go back and watch it. But I think that's also enough to get it on my number 8, and for me to tell you to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I've got that higher up on my list, Steph. Should I tell you where it is, or should we wait a little bit longer?
I mean, I guess let's
to see where
wait
it
and
is?
and get there. We'll just talk about it
Let's
a bit
get
less
there.
when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, I also thought. I mean, it's perfect setup. They go to Universe in pool play. They go to Universe pretty much the whole way through the season. That game goes to Universe, and we talked to Nicola, so there's no spoilers. Marvelous DC. I mean, my question about the game is, did you see how good Zara Island is? I mean, this
yes,
is a
I
player
did
you should
now.
be scouting for.
Yes.
For Super Team. She was unbelievable.
On the list. Who's next for you? Who's your number 7?
My number 7. I think a team name that I heard you utter as well as you were noting down your list. So I think you might have this one. I've got Deep Space Reading in the UK National Final.
On my list.
One of the craziest comebacks that we saw of the season. This game went up and down and up and down. I think that there was
the Nicole Lester injury.
Nicole Lester got a big injury, and yeah, it changed the tide of the game. And there's another whole change in there. They were pretty even when that injury occurred. When they came out of it, Reading hit the ground running and got a few breaks ahead. They had maybe 3-4 in the lead, and then they were in a position where it was they had 12 games of 13 or something, and Deep Space won about 4 or 5 points on the trot, and were just came from absolutely nothing. They turned it around, hard U-turn at the final moment. What a game from Ruth Cordron, what a game from Jack Haukyard. And it was even more
I
impressive
thought Becky
to have
Thompson
the-
had a heck of a game in that.
on the other side of it.
The
Wow.
Reading lost, but Becky post Leicester injury was a big part of Reading's comeback.
Yeah, I think it was the best game I've ever seen her play in Frisbee, and I've seen her play a lot of games. She is a fantastic player, and it was brutal that she didn't win that game. I think it means even more, in my opinion, Steph, because they came back in bad ultimate conditions. It was raining in that game. It was windy in that game. It's much harder to do the comeback when you have that upwind, downwind dynamic, right? Because scoring that upwind point for the comeback is just really, really tough. And they managed to do it. I think they managed to do it a couple of times and get the victory there. Yeah, that was a great game.
Hard pressed Frisbee conditions out there in the ham. That is on my list, so I'll tell you when I get there now. But it's not the next on my list. My number. This takes us to my 6.
7. This
My
is
7, 9, 8. So yeah, this is 10, 9, 8, 7. It takes us to the French National Championship
Do you not have a French national game?
Women's division semi-final. Praying Mantis versus
Lilliput.
Lilliput, yes. Was an awesome game. I mean, I don't know if it should have been, and it was like lambs to slaughter. Pook went to the final and just got smashed by Yaka in the next game.
brutal.
But they left it all on the field for that game. Back and forth they went. The Praying Mantis would not quit. They would not let themselves lose that game. It took a heck of a layout play. Pauline Lambolez late in the game laid out, kept the disc off the ground, sent in a backhand over the shoulder to finish things off. But the last point was absolute grinder. You could see the fatigue on the players, but that was probably the best game for tightness at that tournament and for drama. I was watching and really, that could have gone either way throughout the whole second half of that game. You're just left wondering. Not really more stretches than 2 points in a row at any time. It was 2 here, 1 there, 2 back, 1 back. It's a great game.
Sometimes, Steph, you just gotta you can't always be sad about the silver medal. Sometimes You were between a silver and a bronze, and you won the semi-final, and you got the silver. And it was
exactly.
okay that they got a little bit killed in the final. And you
Yeah,
got to
Yak
give
ate
it
their
all up
lunch
for the
in the final,
semi-final.
but
Yeah,
they got the
it's-
big win.
They got the big win. They got the higher finishing position. They got the shiny silver medal. I think it's a great pick, Steph. I'm
What do
going
you
to
got
move
next, Nono?
on. I'm going back to the beach. I got a lot of beach early here. A lot of beach on my list. We had a lot of beach games this year. When I was looking back on. I've got Italy Bling in the Paganello True Mixed final. I thought that was a really exciting game. It was Bling. It was a cool team to watch because of the dynamics of all the players. We had, the Claire Tropes of the world, Boxley, Garvey, RIP, RIP the ACL.
Yeah, get
our
well
boy
soon.
Beast.
The Beast, the
Lagarde.
Cardenas. I mean, they're just so dripping in talent. Kocher. You got some goats on there with Bo and Mickael, and it was wild to watch. You're right, and it was like the perfect finish for Paga because it was
Yeah.
like that. It needed to be Italy in the final against some of the Italian national team on Italian sands. I mean, if you haven't been to Paga, to see the way their final stadium kind of sets up, they've got like the cafe bar area with umbrellas and field level seats on one side, the grandstand stadium seating on the other side, people sitting on the hill in the end zone, and then everybody coming in off the promenade on the other end zone. Like and for the final, especially with Italy playing, it was a great atmosphere. Blake did take it by maybe 2, 3, a bit more even.
Yeah, it was two or three. I mean, it was close. Looked like Italy had a chance. On the beach, you can always go on a bit of a run, but and I also think there was one of the best game plays I saw on LTV's stream where Elliot Bonnet got up huge for a block. I do think that was the most impressive thing I saw on LTV stream this season. Like, did his body contort in some ridiculous way? No. He just got way higher than I thought a human could get in that moment. Like,
Higher than he's ever been in his whole life, I'd say.
Right there, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Stef. So that slots into my 6th spot. Shame that Italy weren't quite as good in Portimao, and they should maybe stick to the Italian stands. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Be back and see if there'll be some Italian players in the final next year at Paganello for sure. Get a bit of revenge.
Bling will be back. I can confirm that much. My number 6, you have spoken about in your honorable mention, so I'll be very brief. But the Jet Set Frisbee's game to go at Belgian Nationals. So I've got 2 from Belgian Nationals on this list, but I loved watching that game. I really thought it was Jet Set's game to win. It was a true case of an underdog victory and like a youth upstart program underdog program. Went down to the wire. You could see the emotion and the pride that came with the victory there when they won it. Great emotional game to go. Jet Set Frisbee's Belgian Open was a humdinger.
It was great. It was kind of back and forth. It looked actually for a lot of the game like Jet Set were going to win. They played a great game.
They did. They were
Frisbees, Frisbees came back and nicked it from them right in the end, if I remember. A great young team. I'm excited to see them, as I said, in 2026.
Yeah. What do you got next, No?
My next game, we're back on the grass, but still not quite a traditional game, Steph. I wonder if you've got this one. My number 5 slot is the London Invite Kids game. The intermission. The shortest game, maybe the shortest game we streamed all year, Steph, was the London Invite Kids game. Unironically, one of the best halftime entertainment I've ever seen at a Ultimate tournament. The crowd was so hype. Plays galore. Absolutely everyone laying out, throwing huge hammers. Like,
what were the names of those teams? Shout out those names. Do you have them?
Lloyd Park Leaks. And then the other team is Epsom
Eagles.
Epsom Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, I do not have it. There were some great kids games this year. I was like biting my nails while they were playing, and then I still like because I was nervous. It was our halftime, But
Yeah.
but by the time that it was like the second part of their game, I was kind of like relaxed and was like, "Hey, this is awesome!" Like I was thoroughly enjoying it. Also, I was counting minutes and like bugging like Connor, like how many minutes we can have left when we start again, and kind of going a little bit nuts.
Yeah.
But you're right, that crowd was going bananas for that game. It was awesome.
I'm really not putting it there just to have a kids game as well, right? If the game had been bad, this would be miles off my list, right? The game was awesome. We've got it uploaded as a separate game on YouTube. It is London Invite Kids game, it was the halftime intermission of Tokay Super Team versus
Team
the
USA.
USA on the Saturday night
Saturday Night
stream.
Showcase.
What a game. Like, actually, what a game. It could have gone even higher if it went down to, like, Universe Point. I think one of the teams did win, like, 4-1 or 5-1 or something.
Yeah.
But, like, I would have put it higher.
We
I
got
would've put
two
it higher.
kids games streamed this year. No, and then I mean,
We got
really
loads.
more if you're talking about Belgian youth, and then
Yeah.
like the kids. So at least three like super junior games we got to stream, which is great. That one
Hmm.
in front of a full grandstand. How cool was it for those kids? Lucky for
Awesome.
them. Lucky for us. My next one is one you've talked about is Deep Space Reading. So we won't give it any more smoke. We talked about that, but that is next on my list. So I loved that game too. What's your next now?
My final beach game in my number 4 slot is coming to you from WGGMBUCCC.
Then I'm gonna have this one too. It's my next one.
Natsuo
Yeah, it's my
versus
next one.
Spangled. Have you got it 4 as well?
Yeah, it's my number 4.
Perfect. Our first agreement.
Yeah.
Natsuo, Spangled. I mean, tell us about this game, Stef.
Oh, I mean, okay, we set it off the top. We have favored some contentious games. This game is was as contentious as they come. These two teams have a history. They've met in the finals before. The year before or 2 years ago, the year prior, Spangled knocked them out in quarters. It was a shock that they met there. Spangled faltered in a couple games this year, and then had this tough semi. Maddie Fry got blocked by Katie Forth in the end zone, and she didn't like that call and made a
One
tough
of the
contest.
best plays I've seen this year. Like, honestly, top 3 plays of I've seen this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, the more I see it, the more I am fully in agreement that it was a sick, amazing block by Katie Forth. But that was kind of what tipped off their inability to agree. And
It was a
from
little
that-
heated before that,
but that was like from then on. I mean, what was it? Kimberly Beach came muttering off the field. She was angry, and then the sidelines erupted. Like, I've heard stories. Now there should have been a spirit timeout in that game. It stayed tight, and then
Do they know what that is?
yeah, and there was, I mean, some of the audacity in that game, like the behind the back throw to score that would have iced it for Spangled before Natsuo finally like had this late comeback. And that game was mind blowing. As soon as it was over, I was like, okay, we're gonna have a final tomorrow, but that was the biggest game of this tournament. There's nothing that can top that now.
I mean, John Dock said it perfectly, right? Like, he could have walked up the sideline with the headset and he would have got better color commentary.
But we would have got taken off the air, is also what he
would have
said.
got taken off the air. It's true. It was vicious. It was vicious on the sideline. It was vicious on the field and crazy on the field as well. Stef, in my 3, we're not going to have the same again because this is where I have Big versus Marvelous DC, which you had down in like 7 or 8. I thought it was a fantastic game. Like, Universe Point, double Universe Point, contentious calls. I can't just homer the games that I personally produced. And this was like a huge game between rivals. And it was a really interesting game to watch. Kind of thinking a bit of Zara Island versus Nick Whitlock kind of game. I thought specifically that watching every time Nick Whitlock comes on the field, it's like the whole defensive scheme has to change there because he's such a threat everywhere on the field.
So
But,
dynamic, has so many
compelling game.
Yeah.
And it was streamed beautifully, by the way. Some of the shots in that game were were really awesome as well.
Rexy and
Lovely
crew
view.
down under, getting her done.
Mhm.
All right, I got my top three. I've got 2 beats remaining, so your beats are
Oh,
done. But
really?
I still got. So my number 3 is Alti TV versus Spain Jekebo final. We lost it, so it's tough to put that on my list. But I really thought that was a heck of a showcase. I thought Spain earned that win big time. It was our game to win. Like I thought we had them in a good position. A tough late turnover, a tough call against Bonet. I thought in hindsight, when I really saw that from another angle, I thought it was he kind of got fouled on the end zone and it got sent back where it really should have been in his hands or could have ended up being the game-winning goal, but it wasn't. It went back the other way very quickly. In fact, it went back the other way. Nas couldn't make the second throw, picked up and then picked on was Nas through to his player. Spain got the goal on home turf. This promenade in Valencia, it had just such a great atmosphere. Everybody kind of rushed the field, not quite rushed it, but you could feel the energy coming onto the field at the end. It was, that was a great game. So that hits my number 3.
I think this was maybe our most unexpectedly great tournament of the year, Stef.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about 4 separate Checkerbow games. With the Morris Cabronas, the Spain versus France. We talked about the Din Don Ulti TV and the Ulti TV Spain. Like, we didn't do loads and loads of games from that tournament. It was just, there was a lot of bangers.
Bangers.
So what a tournament it was.
Great prep tourney. What's your number 2? No.
My number 2, I actually think we're going to be exactly the same on the top 2. This is my
No,
prediction.
because I got 1 beach left and you said you're done your beach.
Oh, then you've missed, I think, a big one. I think I've got 2 undeniables.
Oh
You've
my
made
God.
like a horrible omission.
All
My
right.
number 2, Tom's Tourney Showcase game, Belgian U24s versus Italy U24s.
Okay, yes, but that wasn't on the original list. But you're right. We did talk about this. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I
For
have
your
omitted-
consideration, Steph, it wasn't on my original long list. So I let you know the Tom's Tourney games aren't there, Steph. So you can include them if you want.
I'll let
You
you
brought
take
that
this
up.
one. I backed my number 2 just the same.
Okay, maybe it's not number 2. I think for me it's number 2. Like again, a tournament, a game I wasn't at. But the night game atmosphere was huge. There was a comeback element. I believe that Italy were up almost the whole game, and then Belgium came back late, and they ended up winning at 12-11 in that game. Crazy
Great
atmosphere.
sideline,
We
yeah,
had
it
loads
was-
of views. We had over 1,000 concurrent viewers on that game as well. Yeah,
And
an
just the
awesome,
start of the
awesome game.
under 24 season again. Like I love when it's
People
a world
love the
championship,
under
championship
24s.
season, and you get the prep games. That was a banger. I like it. Great call.
In that moment as
yes, I
well.
definitely could have and maybe should have had that in my list, but I still back my list. I got 10 bangers here for sure. My number
we
2.
didn't even we didn't
go
even
on.
know that those teams were that good then as well. We were like, okay, maybe Belgium's going to be good, but not
Yeah.
Italy.
The
Some
2
people
and
maybe
4
thought the other way around.
could have been 2 and 3.
So good.
Yeah, they were awesome. That was a good showcase to get things going. Italy went on to win that tournament, win Tom's that last year. My number 2 goes to back to Paganello, not the mixed final, the women's semi, and I think this is where Tequila Boom Boom put themselves on the map this year. Paganello was always going to be Furies in the women's division, but it had to be Whoop and Fury. And Whoop is this European all-star team, Anna Gerner, Chloe Olivier, Lewandowska, a great collection of women's players. And they were up against a bunch of kids from their hometown beach. Rimini's Tequila Boom Boom. No La Fiata.
Tequila Boom Boom Junior.
Tequila Boom Boom Jr. That is right.
Yeah.
No La Fiata, no La Gala, who's been gone for a while. A bunch of kids, and okay, they had offense on Universe Point too. Like this was a great show of the future of Italian Ultimate. They would not go away. They were not backing down. In the end, yes, the superstars showed some great brass. They had to take it back. Like it was a bad turnover, they got it back. A medium turnover, got it back. But defensively, they finally. But like commentating that game, I was like, surely they're going to pull away now. Surely they're going to put him away now. And Tequila Boom Boom Jr. Skyrocket up my list to number 2 because of the gritty performance they put in. And, home turf, all their parents, grandparents, Easter weekend in Italy were in the crowd. And they certainly made everybody there proud.
Awesome. That is a great pick, Steph, and one. Glad you caught a blind spot for me there. It was on my long list for sure, but I missed it there, and it will be on our 15 years old TV live stream. You can check it later, and I think a lot of these games are getting linked in the YouTube chats as well. If you want to check out a particular game, I think our number 1, Steph, is going to be the same, and I think it's only right for you to lead the way.
Thank you very much. I'll take it. But what a game it was. My very precious Tokai Super Team. I talk a lot of talk. I play the evil promoter. It's an act. I'm not an evil human being. I'm a very loving person. And I put these teams together for the promotion of the sport. I think it's great for European Ultimate, for European players to meld with some of the great American players with some global influence. You get the Whitlock over from New Zealand this year. It's the second iteration. We floundered. We lost a game to Germany by 3, and we were going into the USA like, we're probably not going to be in the semis now, unless we beat the US by 3. But hey, let's do this. Let's less pressure. Let's go there. We go down 4-1, and it was, a bit baffling. Everybody's kind of looking to one another. Ine had a great speech at the first time out. Kind of got the troops fired up, and I still remember her. She's so cute when she gets angry, and kind of muffed up her words in English a little bit, but everybody knew exactly what she was saying. And we, everybody got in tight, and Angela Zhu was playing very limited points. I remember her being very locked in and engaged in these huddles, and to come back and beat the USA is one thing, but to come back and just say, hey, we're going to play the wildest, loosest offense you've ever seen, and come back against the USA and force them into playing our game and playing a wild shoot from the hip kind of game was...
You dragged them into the mud.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. I think I talked about it after. I was like, I don't know if any of the World Games teams are going to be able to watch this and take much from it on how to beat the US. But we were the only team to beat the USA in World Games this year. I thought it was great for so many people. I mean, these tournaments are great for the internal of the team, but I think the external, the show, the kids' game at halftime, the full grandstand, the come from behind, the take it to universe point, a chance to win the point earlier. Actually, we really finished strong.
This is the full game highlights here. Some crazy plays all the way throughout the game.
It was madness. Yeah, I'm happy that there's Big Milk getting the foot up on Lindsley. I'm happy to be watching this. But yeah, it is unanimous number 1 there.
And how good was Marquez, by the way, this whole weekend?
Yes. Marquez probably his best year in his ultimate portfolio. Tanner Johnson go. He was the last choice, the last selection.
Oh, I love this play.
Floor Calarts.
You see someone slap it out the ground?
Yeah.
Out of the air.
And it's like, hey.
So good.
And here it is. Is this the finisher? This is Dameron. Goes back to Manu. Quinn Finer's going to find that corner. And that is the game. That was jubilation. We knew before we got in the Spirit Circle, we weren't going to the semifinals, but it didn't matter. We just beat the USA World Games. Heck of a show. I mean, that helped us launch our first trial at a paywall. another thing that is a big topic on the off season, how these things work. We always want to know what's best for the viewer. That is what we're in this for the sport and for the viewer, for the community. And I think that game was a little bit of a gem and a treat for the community, a heck of a game that Alti TV got to cover this year.
Absolutely. And it was paywalled at the time, and that was fantastic because it allowed us to provide you 3 pictures of coverage of London Invite. There's plenty of London Invite coming up in our 15 days of LTTV streams. But right now you can watch that for free. It'll be airing on a good time for everyone. We'll let you know when it's airing on our 15 days LTTV streams. You can go and watch it on VOD as well, on the classic YouTube ways, if I'm correct. But
Yeah.
what a game worth paying for.
Yeah, worth paying for, but it's free now, baby. Make
Yeah,
sure you
baby.
check out the Alti.tv. The website has been modified for the Streamathon right now. So if you want to see what games are coming up, you can get on, watch them live. You can get into our Discord. There is a channel for some watch parties. You can jump in, probably join Milan. See if we can get a few more of us in there to join for some of these games too. But yeah, do all those things. Of course, like, subscribe, keep joining, share the good word, get people onto Alti TV, keep people on Alti TV, and we'll be able to bring you more as these 15 days continue on. There's going to be some shows, Noah. I might be making lasagna on one of the shows. I'm not sure if that's going to work out logistically, but we got
15 layers, Steph. 15 layers of lasagna,
Yes,
right?
okay, 15 layer lasagna. I normally go 11, but I can up my game. No.
Awesome.
Well, have you got anything
last thing
else
from me,
on the
Steph.
slate?
Look, I think I've said similar in the last couple of days. We're kind of wrapped up, at least on TV Europe for the year, but we're still working hard, and we want to hear from you. If you're a tournament who wants to be part of, to have one of the best games of 2026, please get in touch. You can find this guy, Stef Pazzo, all over Instagram and YouTube and anywhere on the emails. And we've got
Stefan
emails on the
at
website.
Alti.tv.
But we want to get more and more fantastic game streams. And yeah, so for Stef Pazzo, we'll send you back to 15 years of Alti TV.
Yeah. Hey, that's the stuff. Listen to what Noah has to say. He's always got the goods. Thank you all for joining us. For Grabco on the ones and twos, my man, No Brinkworth. I've been Stefan Pazzo. Thanks once again. We will catch y'all next time.